You know, it's interesting how when we think about personal brands, we think about like personas and influencers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now everybody wants a personal brand. At least leaders do. Don't you find that to be true?
Yeah, I think it's just so much information out there and so many messages. It's a it's a great opportunity to stop and think about, well, what's my message? What do I believe in?
Well, because, I know we come from a B2B space in terms of the history of TwinEngine, but that people buy from people now.
Well, I think in the past it was really easy. Businesses bought from businesses.
Yeah.
It's really pretty straightforward. You know who your audience was, and they all resonate with the same message, but it doesn't really hold up anymore.
Well, there's so much noise and so much like complete, what do they call it, AI slop, where I'm causing a little traffic jam here, where people are looking for authentic people that aren't just creating content in AI and and what do they really stand for? What it's interesting, and less. I also find that it's less crafted and more just real. People talking about what they do, what they care about, and just providing information. And
I think it's authentic people, but with an authentic message too. And
yeah,
the thing that I find is it's sustainable.
What do you mean by sustainable?
Well, you have a consistent voice, and you're just being yourself and just being real and feeling confident in yourself. I think it's about feeling confident in yourself, your message, and making a stance. To your point, defining what you stand for and how you make a difference in the world, and I think it's also about making a difference.
Yeah, I do think that there's some practical things that people need right now. They're looking for ways they can position their business where maybe some things didn't work in the past, like email and even social media. I think LinkedIn is flooded with all this AI content, and it's hard to really stand out. And people are looking for ways like, how can I still make my numbers, make sales, reach out to my customers in a way that's, real and, in with the times. And I think, putting your brand out there as a leader is one way to do it. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have, perfect content and perfect video, and just find a way to be visible.
I think being real and being okay with being vulnerable. I think there's a lot of leaders that want to say something, but maybe they're afraid about being vulnerable. But that's where the good stuff is.
I think so too, but I also think that businesses are trying to solve big problems, and they still need to make their sales, be successful, make their numbers. And there's a number on the dashboard that many companies aren't meeting because they're not able to reach out to their customers and connect with people in the way that they used to. And it actually applies to internal communications.
Going back to thinking about the making your numbers, I think it's really more of a one-on-one message now. It's not, you can't send out these massive emails and expect, because I don't know about you, but I'm just overloaded with email.
I'm so overloaded with the email.
And so, not that email's bad. I think email definitely has its place, but being more targeted and crafting messages to specific audiences makes a big difference.
I think though companies that's what they've always done, trying to reach certain audiences with specific messages, but the way that they've done things in the past aren't working for them anymore.
Yeah, I meant personalized.
Yeah.
Personalized message.
I think you mentioned one-to-one. I think in person, finding ways to connect in person, to be in front of the people that you typically would never need to be in front of. I think that's super helpful and supportive, and I've seen some real success in that. I think we've been doing so much work with thought leadership. I think it's time for that thought leadership to be more thoughtful and transition to more thoughtful leadership versus just thought leadership.
And when you say thoughtful, what do you define that as?
Like thoughtful, like considerate, like really thinking about it in terms of, being thoughtful about your audience and not just like thinking about a thought that you want to be the leader for, What are you being thoughtful about? And I know that a lot of people are struggling with this right now. We had a meeting this morning with a client, and I think there's a little imposter syndrome there. Does this person want to be the spokesperson for the company? Do they feel like it's going to be effective for them? At first I thought that that's what they should do, and then after meeting with their whole team, maybe it isn't. So it's interesting times.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what the answer is. I know that AI is here to stay, but I don't think it should be your primary solution to solving whatever that is.
Well, and I think if you're not clear on what your message is, if you're not clear on who your audience is, if you're not clear on what your value proposition is, it doesn't matter what you put in Claude or GPT or Gemini, it's just going to deliver, bad information will deliver bad content. So spend the time really thinking about it. Spend 80% of your time really building a strategy, like analog, like thinking about how do we position ourselves, or how do we pivot? What's our message? How do we deliver the message that people are really looking for? And then spend 20% of your time working on a tool. But I know that people are running toward these tools and it's not working.
Yeah, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
One thing I found interesting in the meeting this morning was, obviously we had talked a lot about different messaging, and some of it was just so complicated. It was long, complicated, and by the time that, you got to the end of the paragraph, you forgot what it was in the beginning.
I know.
So I think simplifying is really important too. So keeping it really simple so that it's clear.
Yeah, I agree. Simplify, simplify, simplify.
Isn't that your why?
I think it's one of my whys. All right, let's try another one, but I need to move the camera. See what it did? Lost you in the frame.
It's kind of in it.
Okay, am I still in the frame? Are you in the frame?
You're in the frame.
All right, next session, let's talk about the World Cup. Want to?
World Cup.
Why don't I start and you just chime in?
Okay.
Did you see the Argentina game?
Oh, amazing.
Messi.
He's amazing. He is amazing.
He is a brand.
He is a brand.
He is a thought leader.
He is a brand.
And one thing I really noticed about him is the fact that he's a total badass. Is he walks. Like he walks. He takes his time. Something we can all learn. He takes his time. He scans the field. And when it's time, he picks those moments and then puts all of his energy into the moment. But you're thinking like, what's he just walking around for? Everybody else is running, but has such an amazing sense of knowing where the ball is going.
Well, he's also so confident.
Yeah.
He's not wondering what other people are thinking or doing. He knows what he wants to do and he does it.
Yeah. Well,
it's very clear.
But also his team. I feel that he is very much about the team. I watch how he looks at the team. I'm always looking at those sort of unspoken moments, how he looks at the team, how they look at him, and you can tell that they respect him and that they have such a bond as a team. I love the World Cup.
I do too. And driving through Houston yesterday, hearing everyone talk about it, I remember getting out of the airport, and it was just full of the jerseys. Everybody on the jerseys, and at first I didn't realize what it was, and then realized it was the cup. And one of the things about that particular game that when you were talking about, he's walking around, he's very, very focused on what he's doing. When I was watching him interact with the team, it's like a level of trust.
Yeah.
That's unbreakable.
Yeah.
With him and also with the team, he has with the team and the team has with him.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game, I don't know if you saw, but they told the story of his family, where he grew up, his community, and they interviewed people in the community that knew him, and everyone pulled out these photographs of him when he was a child. And it's funny how most people think that being successful is an overnight thing. But he talks about how many years it took him to be an overnight success. It's one of his quotes. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it's about, how long it took him to be an overnight success, and the fact that he was willing to put in the time and effort in doing so. He wasn't looking for like an overnight, like sensation like a lot of people do. I think when I think about people like Messi, I think about what we can learn from him as leaders right now and all of this change, and whether it's, world disruption, geopolitics, still going through that, or, how we can be more strategic in our businesses with what's happening with AI, and how the consumer buying is changing, world currencies. That I think there's a lot to learn from Messi. I framed it Messi moments.
Messi moments.
Because he's just like so much that we can be inspired by just a game, and how these games really bring the world together at a time, I think, when we need to be together. Don't you think?
And being true to who you are.
Yeah. He's
being
himself.
True to who you are.
I wonder how many years he's been playing soccer.
I don't know. I remember years ago, he had a lot of success. When he first started having a lot of success. And it's amazing how he's continued that success over all the years. It'd be something interesting to look at.
Yeah. I'd love to meet him. Seems like a lot of integrity. And I love how he's just always just smiling and connecting with the fans, and just seems like such a real person. Someone that people can really look up to.
Yeah, energy's half the battle.
Yeah, it definitely is. How you're perceived, how you present yourself, how you just show up.
Go Bessie.
Go Argentina.